dominated this division for so long. Is there a thought of stepping up? If you're having that much fun in the division, I don't know if I would either. I mean, I really wouldn't, because you guys are – the thing about you street stock drivers, you guys really have a tight-knit division. And it doesn't matter if you show up at Willamette, those guys there are still tight. I mean, you guys all talk to each other. You got your Facebook page, the Iron Giant series. You guys do a lot of communication through. And when you guys show up, it's kind of like you guys kind of hang out together, you pit together. And it doesn't matter if you're at Willamette, Cottage Grove, Sunset. I mean, it doesn't matter what track you're going to. It's kind of – you guys are a pretty tight community, and you stay together. And that's, I think, another reason what makes it so fun to watch that division. These guys are for the most part, really good friends.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm great friends with Chris Sine, and we had a couple of great races. And that when I was still running the Chevelle there at Willamette, that was the first couple of times I got a run there, and it was a battle, first and second in between me and Chris, going back races. And forth, and that was a pretty cool experience. And we can rub doors and get out and still laugh about it and have a good time.
No fist fights.
No, not a lot. I mean, there's drama happens, but typically people get over that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, that's within any division. It's part of the game. But let's talk about this new Monte Carlo you guys have put together. Man, it looks like it was put together at Hendricks or Childress, and you guys went through with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah, well, like I said, the looks itself, Artistic Customs and Collision did a great job on the black paint, and like what was said about the powder coat underneath, Oregon Powder Coating, they sponsored our powder coating, and it's holding up just fantastically. The entire inside of the car, it's the same inner decking and everything. We just put new quarters, doors, fenders, and plastic on it. That was about it. Other than that, the car's been sitting in the shop almost ready to race for the whole off season. So,
wow.
But it's
crazy.
The T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and we're ready to go racing.
So who was the Earnhardt fan? Was it you or your dad?
Well,
there's some Earnhardt flavor on that car.
Well, there was both, but mainly my dad. He was a huge Earnhardt fan. He's got quite a collection of Earnhardt stuff, and it's pretty cool stuff to see. But that's actually one of these. My dad has an '88 Monte Carlo that he bought because in '88 Dale Sr. was running a Monte Carlo, and he fell in love with it and ended up getting one, and now we end up having one as a race car. And so far it's been a great car. We just we got a little bit more of a learning to do on the setup, and I got to get a little bit more comfortable in the seat, I think, and we'll be racing for first.
What's been the hardest thing transitioning from the older Chevelle to the new Monte Carlo? For you as a driver, what has it been, the maintenance, the setup, the working on it, or the actual driving of it?
Well, the setup is a lot different, which mostly I defer a lot of that to Brett and my dad, because they really know what they're doing. I try to give them the proper feedback so they can set up the car to have us win. But other than that, it's really the way that the rear suspension works in this Monte Carlo is a lot different than that Chevelle was.
Sure.
And the feeling inside the car is like you're getting sideways, but you're not. You're just kind of you're getting more bar angle in these Monte Carlos than you are than we were in the Chevelle. So it kind of feels off, like I'm getting sideways when I need to keep my foot
Is that
planted.
because of what we call lead or rear steer?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot more in the Monte Carlo as opposed to the Chevelle?
Yeah, and sometimes we had way too much. Early in the year, that front left tire was 2 feet off the ground, and that was quite a handful behind the
I remember that, yeah. There were some times it was got a little tight on you.
yeah, extremely tight.
Yeah. Joel?
Man, I'm just reminiscing about the three-wheel Langan mobile.
Well, something he brought up earlier was, a couple years ago, the battles you had with Chris Sine at Willamette Speedway were just, truly epic. Fans were not sitting down when those were going on, and Chris built a new car for this year?
No.
Well, he's got the Camaro.
He's going to be doing a car for next year. He's going to be sitting out this year.
Okay, so I remember he was talking about building a new car. I thought that was for this year, so April's got a car for he's going to run this year. Originally was the plan.
Well, I hope so. I would like to see her on the track.
Yeah, because didn't they build what would they build her? She got away from the Camaro, right?
She's got a Monte.
No, she's had a Monte.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
she had the Monte.
She's had the same Monte.
Yeah.
So they went through, updated it, got new paint. I'm hoping to see those guys out there. Really like it when the signs show up, and I know you do because you guys are super tight, and it's always good racing. And how many times are we to see you up north at Willamette?
Well, I'm hoping at least a good 5 or 6 times. They've done a great job on the Iron Giant series schedule. So there's typically at least a weekend in between the races, so we get to kind of go where we want.
Sure.
And Willamette has I would say more big shows, but Cottage Grove, the schedule this year, they've got the street stock scheduled for 18 races.
A lot.
Yeah, they're
Heather's making them work for it.
Yep.
Yeah. Heather's doing a great job down there, and it's kind of hard to say this prematurely because it could change on Friday night, but. I sure would like to win a couple at Willamette.
Well, we'll definitely be looking for you up there. And I know that the Iron Giant series, you guys are all over the place on that series. I mean, from Roseburg all the way up to as far as – are you going to Elma?
No, River City.
River City, yeah, up there. So you're going to run that – you're committed to run that full schedule?
I don't know if we're going to do Roseburg or not. That's something my dad wasn't on board with last year, and I might try to work on him about it this year because I think that engine would be a whole lot of fun to open up on asphalt. But it's aside from Roseburg being kind of iffy, we plan on running all the other ones, which means new tracks for me. And
so what tracks on the series have you not ran at yet?
I've only ran Cottage Grove, Willamette, and Banks.
Okay, so you haven't been to you haven't been to River City, you haven't been to Madras,
Coos Bay,
Southern Oregon.
Yep. Yeah, wow. So you've been
You've been a homebody, buddy.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of. Well, until a couple of years ago, I had never traveled outside of Grove. We ran a Jim's 100 once, and that was the only other place in Grove I had been as of a few years ago.
And that's at Sunset, and that's a big street stock race.
You talk about your dad and Brett Endicott and their foundation of setup and their technical knowledge they've helped you. How did you get your start in racing?
Well, it was my dad. He built that Chevelle. Originally, my brother drove it for a couple of years, and once he had, seen some success in it, it was kind of a predetermined deal that I was going to hop in the car. And then I got to, and it ended up working out pretty well. So I've been sitting in, cars with the number 74 on them since. And my brother got to build his own Nova, and we had a lot of great battles down at Cottage Grove. And, I'm excited for him to come out. I'm excited to race with my brother again.
That's going to be fun to watch. That would be a great time for you. I mean, everybody wants to go out and bang doors with their brother and have a good time. It's always fun to watch you Langan guys. I mean, they show up, and you guys are just, I mean, it truly is. You guys are one of the elite division cars in the division. And when you unload, you just know things are done right. And if you don't believe me, guys, walk over there and take a look at that race car. There isn't anything on that race car that isn't checked twice, that isn't out of place. I mean, that thing is just on point and dialed. It's perfect.
It's checked twice. It's dialed, but the thing you're forgetting is it's been polished 3 times.
At least.
That car
is the prettiest street stock I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, Joey Tanner's car is loud and it's bright, but you get down there to that 74 Monte Carlo of Andrew Langan, and oh my gosh. I mean, the sun has set. We're just on ambient light now from here in the mall, and I'm looking down at that car, and it's still making me need to go get my sunglasses.
It's yeah.
That thing is shinier than Corey's head, and I didn't know that was possible.
It's possible. We just saw it with the 74. It's an unbelievable car. So, again, the hours and the time you guys put it in there. I mean, that's the one thing. When people talk about the 74 car, on top of it being fast, they talk about the craftsmanship in that car. They talk about the way it's put together and the maintenance on it. It's just every week it shows up, it looks like it's ready to, like it just came out of Hendricks. Like it's just on point, perfect, ready to go.
Sam, write that down. He just made a NASCAR reference.
That was twice in one interview, by the way.
Ooh.
2.5. 2.5.
He's just see it's 2.5 thing. You know what that is? I tell him. I said, listen, you get to strike 3, Sam. I said, I'm spank you, whoop your ass, right? And he's always saying, "Am I at 2.5? Am I at 2.5?" No, listen, when you're at 2.5, you're gonna know. I'll let you know.
I think 3's like the volcano that never happened. I have absolutely no fear.
When you're at 2.5, I'm gonna put a slide job on you like Langan does on most rookies, and all you're gonna see is nothing but the dust.
And the only thing that comes to mind is Break All and Maya.
Oh my God! Look at him.
Oh,
he's got. She's got coffee. Look at this. Sandy shows up with coffee.
Squirrel.
No.
Race car.
Well, it's an Andrew Langan interview. Come on, guys. Stay on point. Stay with me. I'm trying to conduct this in a professional manner.
Andrew's sitting over here. He's just kicked back. And he's going, there's a reason we don't go up in the booth, and they keep those guys locked up away from us. They are nuttier than squirrel turds.
It's a fact. That is a fact. And you hang out with us long enough, you won't be right either, Andrew.
Oh, it's contagious, huh?
It is very contagious.
2 out of
Andrew,
the 4 aren't right.
Put your headset back on, dude. We're not done yet.
He's ready to get out of here. This Iron Giant now, James Whitehouse and Chris Sign have really worked their tails off, and I know you've kind of been a little part of that as far as talking about rules. You've put some input on the rules and what you think should and shouldn't be done. What is about the rules this year that you like the best?
Well, they're keeping it pretty open, which it allows more cars to be involved with the series, and the car counts that they're getting and the quality of drivers, getting them all into one place, that's the most impressive thing to me. And all of the money that they raise for the purses, and I mean those guys have just done an excellent job promoting this whole thing. And I got to say thank you to the both of them, because this so far in my career racing, this is going to be the coolest thing that I've done yet. It's
going to be cool. I told this to Chris and James not long ago as we were sitting in a kind of a little three-way meeting talking about things. I said, listen, this is my opinion of what you need to do to get the Iron Giant to the next level. And they both looked at me like, oh no, here comes Corey. Right? So I said, make your own rules. Make a set of rules. Become a series, and if you're going to travel, and you guys got the money, they're paying $1,000 to win every race. Make your own set of rules. When you come to the track, those cars that are at that track are racing under those rules. I think it would simplify a lot of things that they've had to deal with as far as, well, we're going to let these cars run at this track because they run these rules and do it. I mean, I think that's what's going to happen in the future. That's what I see, and I think that's what would be best, my opinion, for the Iron Giant. You make your own rules. You travel with that series if you want to. If not, you go race somewhere else. You want to race those rules, you can. But as a series, I think if they had a set standard of rules, it's going to make everything better because now everybody's on the same
playing field.
Right. You guys know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
And I'm not saying anything. It's not bad the way that it is, but I see it as the way it's growing.
This thing's going to get huge.
It is. And I think that the next step is to make that set of rules standardized for everybody, top to bottom. And when you show up at the racetrack for the Iron Giant race, you're going to race those rules.
I would agree with that to a point. I think the timing of when to switch to your own rules is the hardest thing. Because right now, keeping it somewhat open and letting the cars from the other tracks run their rules and be involved with the series, it's going to get that many more people involved before you make that switch. So
I get where you're coming from. I understand that. I do. And it's not like I said, it's not bad the way that it is, but I think the next level is everybody on the same page.
Yeah, it's
a traveling series.
It's the timing of that I think would be imperative.
You're right. And as big as this thing is getting, as fast as it's getting that big, I see that happening sooner than later. My opinion. I could be 100% wrong.
Yeah, but
that's
then you
happened
also
once
called
before.
Out the metric cars 6 months ago, and look what happened. So
I said what?
When you started talking about, I guess a year ago you started talking about the metric cars. Watch, everybody's going to start jumping to metric cars. Guess what happened? Yeah.
And then I said that there was going to be an IMCA stock car class because you couldn't run those cars against the true street stocks. And what happened? I've got a pretty good track record here, Andrew.
Yeah,
I see.
No doubt.
Track record. How was your bet for the Marvin Smith Memorial?
Listen, that's sprint car stuff. It doesn't matter at this point.
Did you hear about this?
I didn't.
I got robbed.
It sounds like it didn't go so well for Corey, though.
Andrew, listen. If I come up to you and I say, listen, okay, we're going to have a 35-lap sprint car feature. There's going to be 16 cars in the field. I'm going to take this number. I'm taking that car right there. You can have the other 15, and I'm going to bet you $20. Are you not going to take that bet?
On the Wednesday before the race.
He's taken one car and gave me 15. I said, there's no way, especially with sprint cars. There's no way. With all the crap that happens in one of those races, there's no way I'm going to not take this bet and lose.
Well, what's the one car?
Roger Crockett.
Well, That's kind of hard to bet against, Corey.
15 cars. I get 15 to his 1, and this monkey pulled it off.
Have you been down to Grove a lot?
I have. And I know how fast